Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Golden Falls, Golden, What If, whatever you want to call me. And I'm back. I'm back with the finale of What If Deku was a martial artist. I know some of y'all might be thinking, how is this gonna be the finale and stuff like that. But yeah, I just ended up deciding to make this the finale because I wanted to finish up this series, and I already had an idea of where I wanted to go with it. But yeah, that's basically all I really want to say about that. I know some of you, I don't know if you guys all saw the community post, but I said that I was going to actually split up Demon Slayer and My Hero. So I'll have Demon Slayer, which was on Monday, and then Tuesday, which is today, where you're going to have My Hero Academia, this is the finale, right? And then Wednesday, you're going to have Demon Slayer again. And then Thursday, you'll have My Hero, which is probably going to be a new series. And then so on and so forth, obviously. And then no video Sunday, because I don't do video Sundays. But yeah, that's about it. That's all I really need to explain. And let's just get right into the what if. Let's get it. So then Izuku sees Kota dead in Muscular's arms. Well, in one hand, per se. And Izuku, not even thinking, dashes at Muscular. And something begins to appear around him. His strikes are more lethal and more deadly. Everything he's doing is now calculated. He's striking Muscular, throwing him around like a ragdoll. He grabs Kota's lifeless body and puts it down. And he continues to beat on Muscular, not holding anything back, leaving him in a pool of his own blood. He picks up Kota and looks at the young kid, thinking about everything he's gone through to this point. He's been searching for his mother, searching for the only person he really knew he had left. And this kid, at the age he was, knew his mother and father were gone. Knew that everybody that really cared about him, that he thought cared about him, was gone. Of course, he had the Wild Pussycats, but to him, he didn't care. But maybe in death, he was happy. Happy to see his parents once again. So he carries him all the way back to the camp, crying. And when he arrives, he tells basically all the pros what happened. And that he was too late to save him. And that basically to watch over his body. And that he's gonna go out and get the rest of the students. Kid, don't go out. You can't do that. It's not safe. I know you're powerful, but it's really not safe for you to go out in that forest with that many villains that are unknown. Izuku then tells him that he doesn't care, and that he refuses to stay here and just wait. So he's gonna go out and fight these villains off and at least save all the other students, because he will not let what happened to Kota happen to anybody else. He turns and a giant dragon then appears in his aura, and he dashes off. Don't you dare die, kid. Izuku runs through the forest, finding his classmates, and he's actually able to get them with his insane speed now. It's as if he was flying, but that's just a comparison to how fast he was actually moving. He was moving so fast that really nobody even noticed him going in and out of the forest, saving everybody. Until he finally dropped off the last student, and he can finally sprint back into the forest to make sure that everybody was accounted for. Now as he's about to finish his sentence, Mr. Compress captures him and takes him to their base. Izuku then wakes up, eventually after some time of being released out of this tiny little marble, and the League of Villains stand in front of him. Hello, Izuku Midoriya. Master's been waiting for you. All For One then appears in front of him. Hello. As you know, I am All For One. And I have some heartbreaking news to tell you, Mr. Midoriya. Your mother? I'm the one that killed her. And now that I have you, this world will be at the whim of my knee will be at my feet. The doctors try and take Izuku away, basically to prep him for whatever they have ready for him. And he quickly breaks free, defeating all the other villains except for All For One. Izuku was in a fit of rage. Izuku wasn't even thinking straight at this point. All he wanted to do was kill the man in front of him. If you want me, you'll have to do a lot better than that. Good, because I'll leave you half dead, and then I'll do as I please. They begin fighting, and All For One throws him out of the building. Their fight is a spectacle. Yes, Izuku has a technical prowess far beyond All For One, but the raw power difference is prevalent. You can see that All For One's power may be exceeding Izuku's, but luckily, reinforcements then arrive. I am here! All Might then charges All For One, just as pissed as Izuku. All Might shares that same hatred, the same hatred of losing somebody dear to you, especially to the man in front of them. So they continue their assault on All For One, beating him down to the best of their capabilities and trying to defeat him. But unfortunately, they can barely keep up. All For One is powerful, stronger. They don't understand. And All For One just smirks and tells him that he has his mother's quirk and that makes him way stronger. Izuku realizes that the death of his mother was not that long ago. And he begins thinking that there was a chance that he just missed her. That he just missed out on his opportunity to see his mother. To meet her, frankly. When he was a little kid, he never even got to be around her very much. But All Might tells him to snap out of it, and that it's time to finish this. And Izuku nods, and tells him to stall for time, and that he has an idea to defeat All For One. Izuku drops down out of the fight as All Might tries to take as much of basically the attention of All For One as possible. Izuku grabs a small little water bottle or a small jar and makes a little makeshift writing thing on it. Izuku screams for All Might and tells him to move out of the way. All Might looks at him confused but does as is told, and Detroit smashes so hard that it sends him away. Izuku focuses all his power, everything he's ever felt, emotions, ki, anything he's ever learned in his life, into his hands. And he begins focusing it all, and as this happens, a green aura begins to erupt around him. He looks at the bottle and then looks at All For One and screams, Mafuba! All For One gets trapped in this vortex of sorts. This green aura just emerged from Izuku's hands and just made a giant wormhole-like substance, dragging All For One into the bottle. And as that happens, Izuku puts a lid on it and seals him away. He begins panting. Using this technique, especially not one that he completely mastered, completely drained him, and he doesn't even know if this is going to have a backlash effect on him. Master Roshi, all that time ago, told him that this attack would definitely seal away the strongest of opponents, and that for him personally, for Master Roshi personally, it would, probably kill him. For Izuku though, he's not so sure. Maybe it would cut some of his lifespan, or something of that nature. But if it so needed to be done, Izuku would have to choose for the greater good. And that's what he did. Izuku may have been injured, but he was okay. And during this battle though, he realized something very important. All Might then walks up to him. Good job, young Midoriya. Midoriya cuts him off, telling him that he thanks him, but he doesn't have time for this. He runs over to where Aizawa is and asks where Kota's body is and where is Mandalay. He says that they are currently at UA, and Izuku asks to please be taken to him. Aizawa's confused, but agrees, of course. So that's what he does. He takes Izuku all the way back to UA, and when he arrives, he sees Mandalay cradling Kota and still crying. Izuku begins to tear up as well, and begins crying, seeing the lifeless child that's in her arms. He asks if he can hold him, and then she lets him, and then he proceeds to put him on the ground. She asks him what he's going to do, and Izuku says nothing, and doesn't even change his facial expression. His aura erupts. Inside the aura, a giant dragon once again appears. I sensed something, Mandalay. I realized that I have this power that I can do something. But I'll tell you about that after it's done. Izuku focuses all his ki and puts his hands on Kota's chest, and all his energy begins to erupt around Kota and himself. The dragon then roars and screams and breathes fire like aura over Kota, and when the mist goes away, Kota is sitting up. Mandalay is in awe and grabs Kota and hugs him, and Kota asks what happened and how is he alive again. Izuku begins to collapse, but Aizawa catches him. Kid, what did you do? I have brought him back to life. Can't you see? Yes, I can see that, but what does that mean for you? Oh, I didn't want to tell you guys that before I did it, because then you would have told me not to do it. I cut my lifespan by a lot to revive him. They all look at him in shock, even Kota. Kota is visibly mad at him for doing this, that it wasn't his responsibility to bring him back at the sake of his own well-being. And Izuku just smiles. He says that it sucks not having parents. It sucks that Kota doesn't have his mother and father anymore. But he has a bright future ahead of him. And he doesn't deserve to pass on just like that. He deserves a chance to, well, do something good. And that Izuku wouldn't have been a hero if he didn't give him that chance back once again. Aizawa puts his hand on Izuku's shoulder and tells him that he's one impressive kid. But the real question is how long does he have to live then? I'm not sure. Kota will live as long as any normal human. But for me, it could be from another 10 to 15 years. If I'm lucky, maybe 20. They all are just kind of sad at this. That, in a way, Izuku is killing himself to save someone else. But isn't that what a hero is? You sacrifice yourself for others, right? I'm not really about all this stuff anyways. I learned from the greatest masters. I learned from an old geezer that taught me some insane things. I didn't even want to be a hero in the first place. But I realized that's what I needed to do to, well, see my mother. Unfortunately, well, I guess I'll be seeing her a little sooner now. Because, she's unfortunately passed. But that's okay. That's okay with me. And I hope that you all are okay with that as well. They all hug him, including Kota, and everyone begins crying. They all then head back into where the dorms are, and Aizawa pulls something out of his pocket, showing Izuku that it's a hero license. A hero license? But Aizawa cuts him off. I know what you said, but it's here just in case. And actually, I want to know what you want to do now that you don't want to quote-unquote be a hero. Oh, yeah. That's actually a good question. And I was going to ask you a follow-up actually about that. Aizawa is kind of confused by this, and he asks what's he going to ask. I kind of want to, well, help teach. Aizawa is actually happy about this, saying that I mean, they could probably set up a whole class around him specifically to teach future students and future heroes basically to learn all the martial arts that he learned. Yeah, I think all my masters would like that. I think my mom would like that. I personally think that my mom would enjoy anything I would do. But maybe I'll ask her that when I go and see her. Aizawa then smiles at Izuku and tells him that his mom would be very proud of him. So, with All For One captured, with Shigaraki and the League of Villains knocked out and taken to prison, Izuku begins teaching people from class 1A to all the way to 3A. And people did question initially that someone his age could teach them, but once they started taking classes and learning about the martial arts that he knew, they realized the real deal Izuku was. So, that continued for a while. Izuku trained the future generations everything he knew, from all his martial arts, from judo, jujitsu, that would definitely help them in future endeavors as heroes, but he also taught them everything Master Roshi taught him, from ki control to the Mafuba to the Thundershock surprise attack. Anything Master Roshi and his other masters taught him, he was teaching these people, these future heroes, leading to, well, peace. And indirectly, Izuku didn't even really know that he was at the forefront of this peace. So until he was about 30 to 40 years old, he was teaching everybody. And then his time was cut short, and Izuku passed. But the impact on Hero Society was still there, no matter what. Still, everything he's taught everyone and everything he's learned was left there for the future legacies, for the future students, for the future pro heroes. And he'll be looking down, even with his mother, at what Hero Society would become of in the near future. And that is a wrap for What If Deku Was a Martial Artist. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below, all that good stuff. And yeah, this is the end of the series. I actually postponed this series probably so much, like in terms of the part 1. I postponed it like crazy because I was gonna do it and then I ended up not doing it, and it took me like months to end up finally doing it, and I'm so glad I did. This is one of my favorite series that I've ever made, and I hope you all enjoyed it too. And I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.